everyone, my name is Ksenia, and today I have maybe the longest awaited guest ever on my YouTube channel, the man, the legend, Dolph Ziggler.
Wow. You read all the notes that I sent you in the email, and
Absolutely.
you announced me perfectly. I love that.
Them by heart
well done.
At night, in the dark.
I really appreciate that. Done your homework.
Yeah, absolutely. That's being professional for you. We are here before the comedy show, right after SummerSlam. I almost ran to here, especially to catch Dolph before the show. And I think we're gonna talk more about that than about wrestling.
Sure.
Because
you can talk about wrestling with anybody else. And I don't even watch anyway, so you're fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you don't even watch.
I don't watch.
You didn't have merch up until very recently on the website.
But we got some for the show.
This is
1 week ago.
Fresh.
Yes.
Right off the printer.
I really like the shirt. It was one. I like when you can't tell it's a wrestling shirt, even though sometimes you're supposed to tell it is. I get that.
Yeah.
But this one is like, it could be a Dirty Dog shirt or it could be a Britney Spears shirt, but you don't know. And it just says downright dirty, black and pink. I love it. I love it. Big fan.
A little bit off top. It was my first time cutting up a wrestling shirt ever, but also I am like very particular about wrestling shirts, so I bought 2 of these.
Okay. The other one will go up on a display case, maybe some lights and candles.
Yeah, should have brought it to like autograph or something, I don't know. Anyways, so we're here before your stand-up show.
Yes.
And maybe just to start easy, can you tell me like when was the moment, and whether you remember it, that you first time realized you were gonna try and do stand-up?
My brother and I, we did improv all the time, messing with our parents, trying to do shows, just coming home from the store and be like, hey, did you get the milk that I told you to get? And we're like, yeah, but I think we hit some kid on the way back. I don't know. I heard a clanking and I saw a bike dragging. Anyway, we got the milk, and like we would just do things like that all the time.
Yeah.
So we always wanted to do it. I watched old Saturday Night Lives, like the first couple seasons on Nick at Night when I was a kid, and I didn't understand half the stuff. But I go, that's what I want to do. And it's very similar to, like, you want everyone looking at you. You know, I wasn't held enough, clearly. So I want the attention. I want everyone looking at me. I want people laughing when I speak. I'm like, yes, I accomplished something. And it's we're both like that. We're competitive. We're into sports. But we want all eyes on us. But we don't want to do okay. We want to be the best.
Yeah, that's great. And there's also this popular opinion, I guess you could say, that to be funny, you have to be smart. And I've noticed myself, because you guys know that English is not my first language, actually. And I remember following you for like, again, we've been following each other on Twitter. Let me brag. We've been following each other on Twitter for like, what, 8 years?
I thought you were going to say 15. It's a long time, yeah.
I'm not that old. About
I
8
am,
years.
so it works, yeah.
And I remember like reading your like jokes, I guess, on Twitter way back, and like not even getting any of that because like my English wasn't at the level.
Well, a lot of people don't get my stuff, so don't be too freaked out. So hopefully people have a bunch of beers here first.
Yeah, and you're not just a funny person, you're a serious person. You're into politics, you do a lot of serious things like on TV too as well.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that side of you that's into politics, that's very thoughtful, very profound person, has to do with you being good at comedy, or are those just 2 completely separate things?
I don't know. I think for comedy, I'm such a judger of myself. I joke around and I'm like, I don't care about wrestling. I phone it in, give me the money, whatever. I say, and I do, and that's funny. But if I have a 30-second situation on television, I will watch that back 900 times. Going, I should have moved my knee like this, and it drives me insane. So I think there's just, you want to be the most educated and have the best opinion, but also be the most educated to where you want your joke to be the best. You want your match to be the best. Anytime you perform, you want it to be like, this is good. I want to be here. And you force yourself to do that.
Yeah.
So maybe that all ties in. I want to know everything I can. And I want to be able to like spit it back out and not be an idiot and not just memorize something and go, but like become better, become smarter. I want to read and go, this makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something other than just like strolling Twitter or whatever. And
it's interesting that you say this because I've interviewed quite some wrestlers, so I've had to deal with those things because I will send people like the video and be like, oh, like here's the final product, stuff like that. And a lot of wrestlers don't watch themselves, like they just can't.
And a lot of people like, or if anybody is around, if my parents are around, my brother, and it comes on, even one of my favorite things, I'm like, I'm out of here. I cannot do this. So I get that in stand-up, same thing. I'm like, when we finish this interview, I have 30 minutes. I will be pacing around, going over my notes, scratching things out, going. It's the opposite of how comfortable I am when I go to do wrestling.
Oh, that's interesting. Why do you think there's like a discrepancy like that?
Because I've done 10,000 wrestling matches and I'm so comfortable. I've done this 30 times. And we took 2 years off because of COVID.
Is that the exact number?
No, I'm making that up. It's probably a little bit less.
Okay.
You need 5,000 reps to even find out your voice and find out you're not just ripping off David Spade or Bill Burr because you're like, oh, this is me, and you're like, that's just like what he would do. So you need 5,000 reps just to figure out what the hell you're doing and what your focus is that isn't just totally influenced from everybody else. And I'm at like 20 or 5 or 30 and I need 5,000 more.
And that question I think you get asked like a lot, but let's just give people the current answer. You get asked about your favorite stand-up comedians a lot, but is there like a current favorite, a newer favorite?
Newer, Tim Dillon is really funny. He's got a funny podcast, he's smart, he's worldly, but also pokes fun at everything, and it's a really funny thing. He's great. I see him, I listen to his podcast. I do mostly, no joke, I'll listen to comics and do a couple different things, but all day long I'm basically scrolling news. So if there's a way to do not like the Daily Show or not like make jokes where it's all snark, but if you can be smart and know what's going on in the world and have like maybe like almost an educated joke that I have to think about for a minute. Oh, this guy's great. And I love seeing that. So there's political people who are funny and then there's funny people who are political. But I hate that it's not the same when it's just like, oh, Chelsea Handler said this, so that's my political standing. Like, she's funny, I'll focus on that, you know what I mean? So I try not to give out a totally biased opinion when someone asks me a question politically or something. I'm like, well, here's what one side says, here's what one side says, I think the answer's here. And people call you like a phony for just not giving a real answer, but I think things through. Sure, you have to, everybody is.
Sometimes you have
especially on social media when you don't have to really show your face. That's all.
We are going to touch wrestling a little bit, because lame,
fine.
I know. Because you are a wrestler who does comedy, but when we think comedy and wrestling, we think comedy wrestling, which is a different thing. And I can't think of points in your career that could be regarded as comedy wrestling. With Spirit Squad.
Yeah, the whole year with the Spirit Squad.
Get us out of the way, Spirit Squad. I always say that Nikki's my favorite wrestler. Nikki! No offense.
The worst.
Yeah, but also some of the newer stuff too. I guess some moments could be labeled like that. But you're obviously not a comedy wrestler.
Right.
So manifest in your wrestling, in your gimmick at all? Or
almost never at work. When I have more free reign, when I can control things, live events where not at TV and not as like this needs to be done this way, I get a little more leeway. I get to take control and you can have fun. And my favorite thing is to like have a live event where you have 30 minutes to do whatever you want, and you do a little fun stuff, and you get a little kid in the front row laughing at something funny, and then 20 minutes later, you're choking the life out of John Morrison, and it's like, please let him go, because you took them on a little ride, but it's fun, and now I'm down to business, and it's real. And a lot of times, I'm a smaller guy at work, and a lot of times I'm getting beat up or beaten, so I have to sadly throw that out the window. I have 30 seconds for me here. I got to be all business and beat the shit out of somebody, or else this all means nothing and they're just beating some inflatable blow-up doll.
And honestly, I love your approach, like on social media when people like ask snarky questions. The whole I don't watch, I don't care, like I don't.
I try not to do it that much, but people set themselves up so much. If I do it too much, it's a running gag. I get that once in a while. I try and tone it down, but there's so many people that are just like, why did you just do this? And you're like, dude, you don't work here. You don't know, like, just leave me alone. And you're like, I don't know.
Also, don't say nice things to Dolph on the internet.
Don't you dare get your ass blocked. Yes.
Okay.
Blocked.
Okay,
you're all blocked.
I do have to ask this. And there are two sides to this question. But side number one is obviously combining wrestling and comedy and all the other things that you do. There's time. There's only 24 hours that you can exist in, right? But that's one side of the question. It's more lighthearted. Another side is, how does that work with WWE being such a closed company and having such intense control over their talent?
It's weird. A lot of people have different. If you've earned their trust and respect over 15 years, I used to have to ask, like, hey, I'm going on to Fox News. Is this okay that I do this in 2 weeks? And I got to a point where I built the trust. They sent me on PR tours to different countries, Romania, Turkey. They sent me to different places, and they trust me. It's 2 weeks. I'm by myself with a handler, and I'm just constantly doing PR for WWE. And over 15 years, I clearly earned the ability to be like, I don't have to tell them I'm going to do something, because I'm not going to be like, Vince McMahon sucks, and that's why we should get out of Syria. Like, there's no reason for that. I'll be like, I could give an educated answer, I can make a snarky joke, I can change the subject, I can do any of it. And that's why for 10 years, it was myself, Miz, Kofi, Sheamus. They sent us to everything, and we got so sharp at it. They go, hey, we got to get some other guys to get these reps in. So I'm allowed to have this long leash and do whatever the hell I want. I mean, I also back it up in the ring, so like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's not showing off if you back it. Sorry,
True.
I had to. And you like being a comedian. Comedy in itself is like a very tricky thing because people get offended usually.
Oh
always.
yeah, big time.
And politics as well. So I know that you have this trust, but in the back of your mind, is there still like, do you still regard it as a risk that you could say something?
Absolutely.
Or do something that
I'm on live TV on Fox News talking politics. I could say something that can get me in trouble. It can be negative towards the company. It can be negative towards me. It can be negative towards the troops or the USA. Like anything. You could say anything and like, oh no, why did I say that? Or you can go, oh hey, I made a mistake. I was trying to say.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that, and I don't. I like to. I don't stop when someone asks me a question and go, here's how I'm going to word this and be okay. I just give my educated answer, and through the 15 years here, where I built up a lot of goodwill, more than probably anybody, I can go back it up, and I feel confident. I know I'm representing the company well that pays me.
Yeah, and I think even,
a lot.
Even I've asked you that on the internet, but I'll ask again because some people might have not seen it. But I've asked you whenever you quit wrestling, which I hope it's not going to be anytime soon.
No, not till like Mania.
So, are you going to transition to comedy as your full-time career?
I don't know. I have so many different interests, and when I find one, I need 10 more years of doing this before I'm good. Okay. Not just wrestling fans are here and oh, that was kind of funny. Like, you gotta get better. So I do the political stuff. I read nonstop. I do all these different things, hoping that one day I can go do Fox News, maybe have a late night talk show on the internet, maybe go do stand-up comedy, maybe have a podcast where one of these guys, we tell jokes and we talk about wrestling, but then we go to a stand-up tour, and I just want to keep modern day Renaissance, man. That's where that just makes yourself a good person, I think. You're doing the most that you can because you don't know if you die tomorrow or not.
That got real dark real quick.
Yeah, you don't know. And you go, I want to go out, everyone going, that dude made the most of his 24 hours. You brought that up a little bit ago. I don't sleep much. I haven't for a long time, but I don't want to sit at home. I don't want a vacation. If I go to a comedy tour for 16 dates in 30 days, it's in between wrestling and I just don't go home. I don't ask for time off.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the last question, but you said one thing, and I didn't want to end like on the gruesome note.
I got like,
but they will.
But we all die tomorrow. See, and thank you.
No, so I've heard a lot of wrestlers say this, that when you're going out to have a match, it's like always life or death. Like you could die every moment. Is this something that you actually think about, actually?
A lot of times you don't, but maybe if you're in there with Goldberg, you think about it a lot more.
Okay, that's a great answer. I'm gonna insert the Goldberg moment, obviously, absolutely. Gonna get a copyright strike, but I'm still gonna do it. And yeah, didn't mean to end on death, but sure. This is the time in the interview where you would usually plug your stuff, which you're so much more popular than me. I'm not sure if you need that.
How is that possible?
Sure.
I'll try and cut my shirt like this for TV.
Absolutely, you should. But yeah, all the links to the social media and the shows and everything, all the glorious
they're all right
things.
Here. Swipe up or click them or whatever.
Yeah, right there. And thank you so much for watching. And give this video a like if you have time, subscribe, and tap the notification bell to never miss an upload. And until next time, goodbye. And thank you so much for being here.
You got it. Please ask her real opinion on what she thought about tonight after it happens. I want to know. I'm sure we'll get it, but
I'll do like an update. Yeah.